Bonjour, tertarik untuk melanjutkan kuliah di Prancis? Yuk simak apa saja keuntungan jika kuliah di Prancis. Sebagai negara penerima mahasiswa asing terbanyak kelima di dunia, Prancis menawarkan pendidikan berkualitas di berbagai bidang. Kekuatan Prancis dalam perekonomian dunia juga diimbangi oleh penelitian dan inovasi yang terdepan. Saat ini bahasa Prancis merupakan bahasa internasional. Belum bisa bahasa Prancis? Jangan khawatir. Tersedia juga perkuliahan yang 100% menggunakan bahasa Inggris. Jenjang perkuliahan di Prancis dari tingkat D3 sampai S3 menggunakan sistem satuan kredit Eropa yang menjadikannya diakui di seluruh dunia. Prancis menjadi salah satu negara dengan biaya pendidikan terendah di Eropa berkat bantuan subsidi langsung dari pemerintah. Biaya S1 dan S2 di Prancis hanya berkisar 40 sampai 60 jutaan rupiah per tahun. Selain subsidi langsung biaya kuliah, manfaatkan subsidi akomodasi sampai 40%, asuransi kesehatan gratis, subsidi biaya transportasi, dan kegiatan budaya. Anda juga diizinkan untuk bekerja paruh waktu untuk menambah uang saku. Kangen berkumpul sama mahasiswa Indonesia? Jangan khawatir, Perhimpunan Pelajar Indonesia di Prancis menyambut Anda di berbagai kota. Setelah lulus, Anda akan bergabung bersama ratusan ribu alumni Prancis di Indonesia dan dunia bersama platform France Alumni Indonesia. Dan pastinya, Anda dapat menemukan berbagai kesempatan profesional di perusahaan-perusahaan Prancis terkemuka. 5 perwakilan kampus France di Jakarta, Bandung, Yogyakarta, Surabaya, dan Medan siap membantu Anda untuk konsultasi pendidikan tinggi, bimbingan kuliah, pendampingan pendaftaran, dan informasi mengenai pengajuan visa pelajar. Kunjungi www.indonesia.campusfrance.org untuk informasi terkait program studi, beasiswa, cara mendaftar kuliah, dan pengajuan visa pelajar. Jangan lupa ikuti media sosial Kampus France Indonesia untuk mendapatkan berbagai informasi terkini seputar kuliah di Prancis. Merci, kuliah di luar negeri, pilih Prancis.
Because a new page of history gets written every day. Because breaking news can't wait. Information everywhere. In all situations. On every subject. Understanding the world. Imagining the world. France 24. A different take on the news.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to French Film Festival 2020 Creative Talks, Film Commission and Co-Production. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Stephanie Josephine, or Tepi, and I'm going to be one of your moderator. I'm going to be your moderator for tonight. But since I will film myself, I also come as a blank canvas, as I hope to learn together with all of you. How can we collaborate in film commission and co-production in both France and in Indonesia? To give you a little bit of information, Creative Talks is a forum organized by French Institute of Indonesia to enable discussion, debate, or knowledge sharing between industry professionals and audiences who are interested in said industry. With that being said, we would like to thank our sponsors, L'Oreal and France 24, who have made this event happen. Now, we have with us three speakers that are going to present tonight. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background from them. First off, we have Stefan Martinet, International Promotion Manager of Film Paris Region, who will share with us how the Paris Film Commission works and steps of the process. Hi, Stefan. Nice
Hi.
to meet you tonight. After that, we are going to have two Indonesian speakers. We have Pak Lalu Roy Samri. Hello, Pak Lalu. Head of Shooting, Location and Promotion of Indonesian Film Board, or Badan Perfilman Indonesia, who will share with us the regulatory side or the basis of the law of film co-production in Indonesia. How is our portfolio, the growth of the co-production, and how can we collaborate with regional film commissions, and what benefit can producers get, maybe also in funding. Lastly, I think this is the session that will give you a holistic point of view, as this one comes from the producer standpoint. We have Mbak Yulia Evina Bara, producer from Kawan Kawan Media. She has produced several co-production films such as Autobiography, which is still in pre-pro and she will explain later, Tiger Stripes, and The Science of Fictions, who recently got 10 nominations in Indonesian Film Festival in 2020. We will have presentations all in one go, and then we will dedicate 20 minutes for question and answer. I think I haven't said hi to Pak Lalu and Mbak Yulia. Hi, Mbak. Hi, Pak. Thanks for being with us tonight. Okay, let me repeat again. We will have presentations all in one go, and then we will dedicate 20 minutes for question and answer. So feel free to send your questions during the first session, and we will read it later. And also, Stefan, Pak Lalu, and Mbak Yulia, we will try to keep the discussion flowing. So whenever you want to add on or to questions or challenge the other speakers, feel free to do so. For the participants, please stay tuned until the end, as we have a little surprise for you. Now, I would like to invite Stefan from Film Paris Region to share his materials for this first session. Please, Stefan.
Hi
Hello.
everybody. So the Paris Film Commission was created in 2004, which considering the history of filmmaking in France, could sound like a late coming. But our territory is the territory where cinema was invented, where about 300 feature films and 2,000 hours of fictions are produced each year. So we were in a very comfortable situation. But then competition with other European countries and countries around the world, including Indonesia, came up, and we felt the need to put together a film commission which is going to promote our territory. The territory of Film Paris region is the region around Paris. Paris itself, 2 million inhabitants, and the suburb, the immediate suburb, counting about 7 million inhabitants, and then the further suburb, counting 1 million. So that comes up to 12 million people. The need was to come together with a database of all the locations that you can access in France. So in Ile-de-France, in the Paris region. That includes, for example, the presidential palace, the palace of Versailles, of Fontainebleau, all these beautiful and extremely famous landmarks, buildings that helps us promote our film destination. We can also mention that the city of Paris is very film friendly, since you can shoot in the city for free. you only pay for parking your trucks, which comes down to very little money. So if you put your camera on the street and you have action taking place there, it's not going to be charged. You need to pay, of course, to get access to public buildings, but these amounts, these prices are fairly affordable. Beyond that, nevertheless, we figured that despite the reputation of our technicians, the availability of some of our producers who gladly and easily get involved into international co-productions, including with Indonesia. We are now counting some Indonesian and French co-productions, as far as about 5 in the last 5 years. We decided, both the state and the region, to put together some aids. And these are constituted of a international production tax rebate, and that we call the TRIP, which is going to sum it up, come down to 30% rebate on all your expenses on French soil. The only thing that one ought to know is that the salary of the big salaries of international actors are not included into the system, but all the other expenses are included in this system. Then there is a regional fund for international co-productions, where the French producer is going to remain a minority. And this system is based on your expenses on Paris region soil, from 100,000 euros to 500,000 euros, and that gives you a return of 50%. You need to collaborate with a French co-producer who is going to handle things for you in France. And this is a system which is quite easy access. We also, I should mention, of course, some of our industry here that are doing post-production and VFX. These industries are some of the best in the world, and some of the films that are produced by American studios are simply treated in France as far as VFX are concerned. So I am finished my presentation.
That's quick. Thank you so much, Stefan. So I'll try to sum it up. So despite the long history of your film industry in France, you started this commission in 2004. And then you, basically it's for every soil in France. And then in terms of like price to enter in the public place or the famous landmark, it's close to free, right? Just the parking lot, if I'm not mistaken, and the public entrance?
No, access to the street is free. Okay, I was rather precise about that. Access to the street is free. Then if you want to access to buildings, then you have to pay.
Yeah.
But the amounts are reasonable.
Yeah, the amount are reasonable. Okay, and then you provide state and region some aid, and then you have 30% tax rebate for international production.
Yes, and then there is another system, which is a system regarding co-productions, which is not the same system. And this system of co-productions is helping, as its name states it, co-productions between foreign producers and French producers.
And French producers, and can give you return up until 50%.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I will list down some of my personal questions for later to add up to the Q&A. But to save time, we will continue to the next speakers. I think Pak Lalu and Mbak Yulia, if you also have questions later for this French co-production and commission as well, we can discuss it later in the Q&A. So we'll go on to Pak Lalu from Badan Perfilman Indonesia. Thank you so much, Stefan. Silakan, Pak Lalu.
Yeah, thank you, Tepi. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Creative Talk webinar organized by EV on the occasion of Festival Film Prancis. My name is Lalu Rois Amri. I'm head of shooting location promotion at Indonesian Film Board. I have a presentation, but I apologize that my presentation in Bahasa Indonesia, but I will present it in English. So maybe later, if there is question, you can ask me both in Bahasa Indonesia or in English. May I have my presentation? So basically, Indonesian Film Board is an organization mandated by Film Law, Indonesian Film Law number 33, year 2009. Maybe next presentation, next slide, yeah. So I myself, I'm the head of shooting location promotion of Indonesian Film Board period 2017 until 2020. So our program is basically under the guidance of the president, because the organization is, we had decree from the president in 2016. So we follow the guidance of the president and implement the program also following the decree of the president. So if one of the Badan Perfilman Indonesia or Indonesian Film Board objective according to the film law is to promote Indonesia as a foreign film shooting location, but that's because the film law is issued in 2009, where when the film is under the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, but since now film is supervised by the two ministry, which is Ministry of Education and Culture and also Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economies, we are not only promoting shooting location for international co-production or international production, but also for local film production as well. But the term of film commission, or what we call it in Indonesia, Komisi Film Daerah, is really because we want to translate what the president really wants to simplify the permit, the bureaucracy, because since his early time in his leadership, the most of the priority is to simplify bureaucracy, to attract more investment, to basically to ensure that we can have smooth or one-stop bureaucracy. That's why one of his priority agenda is deregulate permit and also deregulate bureaucracy. He reshuffle many organization, both in the central government, or also mandated the local government to deregulate some bureaucracy and also organization. And during his presidency as well, that film for the first time excluded from the negative foreign investment, which is in 2016. So also another landmark during his presidency in 2018, there is a system called online single submission or OSS, which is You can register your company and also to do business in variety of sectors by online system, and everything can be done within hours or days to register the company. But of course, there are some permit that you still have to deal with the local governments depending on your needs. Also, recently in 2020, there are new development called what maybe we are familiar with what we call Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja or Omnibus Law, that trying to also resolve some problems that still happening when you do everything mostly for for investment or to do business. That's the purpose of the Omnibus Law or Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja. Maybe I go to the next slide. So basically, the film commission in Indonesia is trying to translate how to simplify doing film production in Indonesia. That's why we are working with some local governments, because Indonesia has a law that gives local governments to run their own government by the local autonomous law. So that's why, although the film permit for international production, for example, we can apply to the Ministry of Education and Culture, but for each shooting location, we have to still deal with the local governments. Here, the Film Commission function to provide one-stop shooting location permit, but for now, we, as a pilot project, because we are working with the Indonesian Agency for Creative Economy in 2017, or Bekraf, to initiate local film commission in Indonesia. But up to now, we only have 5 local film commission that are already established. Although when we started, we initiated in 15 cities. Stefan is familiar with some of the film commission, maybe because we had a workshop in 2019 with Stefan. We invited some film commission that already established, and also some local governments that are interested to set up a film commission. Next. Okay, we have, or Indonesia has an increasing number of film production from every year. From 2018 and from 2019, unfortunately, we only have data until August 2019. Yeah, we are seeing the increasing number of film production, but these are not only feature film, but also documentary or commercials or other type of production. Next. Yeah, but up to now, there are only several cities or provinces that are becoming the most targeted shooting location, which is still in centralized in Jakarta, Bali, or West Java, or East Java, or Jogja, which is mostly within Java. So the Indonesia has 34 provinces from Sumatra to Papua, but the shooting location maybe because of the the film industry centralized in Java. The production mostly done in Java or Bali. Next. Yeah. Since we have started the Initiate Film Commission, we have published a guide to how to establish a film commission. Of course, based on the Indonesian law, because this is for the first time we started doing film commission in Indonesia and working with closely with the local government to set up the film commission. We have published two publications. First, how to set up film commission, and then the guide to operate the film commission. Next. This is the 15 regions that we have started to initiate film commission from Sumatra, in Riau, including Toba. In Java, there are some East Java, Jogja, and also West Java. Also in Kalimantan, we have initiated also in Sulawesi, and in most island we try to cover, but up to now only 5 local film region that have established. Next. This is benchmarking how we learn, including from the Paris region film commission with Stepan. We have organized film commission workshop as well with European Union in 2017. Basically, learn how the film commission and film incentive works in Europe. Also, we have done benchmarking to a Cannes Film Festival in 2017, and in 2019 we have, since some local film commission have established, we invited one of the what we consider the best film commission in the world, Paris region, to learn more how to operate and get some knowledge and experience from Paris Film Commission. Next. This is how some local commission that have established operating. There are 3 that have established, created directly by the head of the local government. So the local film commission basically created by the major law or the region's decree. So they are directly under the supervision of the head of local governments. But up to now, we basically the local government could only provide non-fiscal incentive, namely transportation support, or accommodation support, or meals support, but they can also have like allocated in advance if there are proposal or requests to support some production. I can give you an example later. Next. For example, this one. This film is made in 2018. They get all the support that I mentioned earlier, but also the cash support, financial support from the local government. Next. This is another project that are supported by the local film commission. The producer will have the presentation later. Maybe she can explain more, Yulia, in the next presentation. Next. This is another partnership that we have done. We are working with the OTT or over-the-top video on-demand operator, which is View. So basically, only some of the local film commission that are supported this project because they actually have done it in 17 region, but since only 5 film commission that are established, so we supported only 5 film commission that are supported this project, but the project gathered widely attention from the View subscribers. For example, in Indonesia, they get like second most viewers, while in the global it's included in the top 15. So the local film commission and local governments are very happy with the result, although they only provide like non-fiscal incentive. Next. So this is another synergy that we have done. We realized that by creating the film commission, we also need to improve and upgrading the local resource capability and competency. That's why we are trying to certify local film resources. In the future, the local film resources with certification can maybe can also support the film production that have done in that will be done in the region. This can also become the requirement when the local film commission or local governments provide the incentives. Another partnership that we have done in the past, we support film project market called Akatara. It is where the autobiography also participated and getting support from the local film commission. Next. Yeah. Next. Yeah, we are trying to set up a website, but now it's still in progress. But because currently we are working with the 3 super destination, super tourism priorities destination, because now the Indonesian Agency of Creative Economy merging with the Ministry of Tourism. We are currently setting up some film commission in some region named Danau Toba, also Labuan Bajo in Komodo, and in Borobudur area, surrounding area, and also in Mandalika and surrounding of Bali, which is tourism. We are working with tourism village and local film communities to support if there is a film production coming, and also to empower the local film communities to also promote their tourism potentials. I think that's my introduction. Open for the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pak Lalu. There are quite a lot of points in there. I will try to summarize briefly before we move to Mbak Yulia. So if there's any missing points from my statements, please correct me. So Indonesian Film Co-Production and Commission is based on Undang-Undang or the Constitution Law number 33, 2009. And now it is supervised under Ministry of Education and Culture and also Tourism and Creative Economy. You not only support international co-productions but also locals. I know we intended to have 15 with Bekraf, 15 regional commissions, but now we have 5 active. We are trying to simplify the process more and more by having one-stop shooting location permit, try to deregulate it locally, and you have a pilot project, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, the pilot project is the commissions in 2017. The number of co-productions, maybe not only film, is increasing year by year. We have 5 top locations, Bali being the one very famous because maybe the industry is centralized in Java. So we have a lot of homework to develop and market the other provinces. We have 33 provinces until now, and that's our big homework to sort of making the process simplified, communicated with the filmmakers, see the potentials or collaboration that we can do. I also will have a question later how we develop the other commissions in other region. Yeah, long ahead of us, and we provide non-fiscal incentive, meal, transport, accommodation. Anything outside that can be discussed through a proposal. So as you can see, there are samples of movies, movies in the cinema and OTT as well that have managed to get funding on other side of the non-fiscal incentive. So Palalu, if I missed anything, you can add them later perhaps. Is that okay? Anything you want to add on?
Yes.
Or I can move on?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Palalu. I will move on to Mbak Yulia, who is the producer from Kawan-Kawan Media. So now we have heard from the film commissions and co-production side. Now we will hear from the producer point of view. How is it actually she does it on the ground? How do you source it and stuff? Silakan, Mbak Yulia.
Thank you, Tepi. Good evening, Steven. Good evening, Lalu. Good evening, everyone. My name is Yulia Evinabara. I'm the founder and producer in Kawan-Kawan Media. We are a production company based in Jakarta. We are focusing on international co-production. I have a slide presentation. Could you please screen it? Yes. So we produce the short feature and documentary, and mostly premiere in international film festival. On the origin of Fear was premiere in Venice. Solo Solitude or Istirahatlah Kata-Kata by Joseph Angginun premiere in Locarno 2016. Our last documentary, UNI, premiere in DMZ Docs and won ASEAN Perspective Award. The Science of Fictions by Joseph Angginun was premiere in Locarno and won a special mention award last year. And since the topic is about co-production, I would like to share our company experience working on the co-production. Next slide, please. Yeah, so the Science of Fictions, this is the third feature film of Joseph Angginun. It was presented at the ASEAN Project Market Busan in 2014, where we met our Malaysian co-producer from Astro. And we also presented the project in Atelier Produ Ausut. And in 2017, we presented the project in Venice Gap Financing That were the time that we met our French co-producer from Andolfi Film. By the time the project was supported by Huberbals Plus Europe in International Film Festival Rotterdam, and also got a support from CNC for post-production, and applied by Andolfi Films, our co-producer. And this co-production at the end, Indonesia, Malaysia, and France. It was premiered in Locarno last year, and now screened in more than 25 film festival, and got a 10 nomination in Indonesian Film Festival, and will screen in Indonesian cinema very soon. Next slide, please. This is autobiography in pre-production. We developed this project since 2017, but then we presented it in Torino Film Lab, Southeast Asian Film Lab in Singapore, Luang Prabang and Tribeca Film Lab, EAV Test Deadline, Berlinale Co-Production Market, Locarno Open Doors 2019. This is the place that we met our co-producers, and it was supported by Bekraf, Pusbang Film, and also Bojonegoro Film Commission, the one that mentioned by Lalu, and also got World Cinema Fund support also from Police Film Institute, Singapore Co-Production Grant, Purin Pictures, and we also got regional fund from Novel Aquitaine France, and this is Indonesia, France, Germany, Poland, and also Singapore co-production. Our French co-producer in Vivo Film is Paris and La Rochelle based. We got the Novel Aquitaine grant applied by the French co-producer, and we're waiting for the result from CNC. Next, please. We also co-produce as a minority co-producer in the Southeast Asian region. This is Tiger Stripes, first feature film by Amanda Nel Eu. This is Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Germany, and France co-production. Now is in financing and also development. Next slide, please. And this one is the film by Carlo Francisco Manatat, Whether the Weather is Fine. This is the main producer is from the Philippines, and this is the co-production between Indonesia, Philippines, Singapore, France, and Germany, and this is now in post-production. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so the reason why we decided to co-produce or did the co-production, the first is to access the financing source from the country, from the co-producer's country. In our case with France, for example, because Indonesia and France, we don't have a treaty agreement yet. We usually work based on, we have to respect our agreement between the co-producers. But some international grant, you can access it directly, because to access, for example, CNC or Singapore Co-Production Grant, Police Film Institute, or Sorfond in Norway, or HBF plus Europe, all which World Cinema Fund plus Europe, you must have the co-producer from that country. That's the first reason. Can you go to the next slide, please? The second reason is about artistic collaboration. For example, in autobiography, the decision to work with the Polish DOP came before we got the grant from the Polish Film Institute, and to collaborate with the editor from the Philippines, Carlo Francisco Manatat, we decided in 2017. But some grants stated that in the rule that must be an artistic collaboration. This is also possible. And the third is about the distribution to access the audiences in the co-producer countries and also international distribution, so we can reach as the audience as wider as possible. Next slide, please. Yeah, so you can meet your co-producers in the co-production platform. This is where you can meet them directly, and this is where you can also win the prize money. For example, autobiography, we won the Locarno Open Doors, and the prize was 50,000 Swiss franc. And I would say this is also a place that your project have a stamp approval from the international expert or from the international film industry. And for a co-production platform, this is targeting filmmakers and producer with have a project and in development and financing stage. And there are some co-production platform, for example, Open Doors, Locarno Open Doors Hub, or Vision Do Real for documentary, Cinema in Rotterdam, Berlinale Co-Production Market in Berlin, or Cannes Atelier, or also La Fabrique in Cannes, also pitching forum in Sorbonne, and also Singapore ASEAN film financing. In Busan also ASEAN project market, and often this co-production platform they have a price from 5,000 to 50,000 granted for the project under development or a production for the feature film. Next slide, please. Yeah. In this slide, I would like to speak about the because we talk about the co-production. The co-production we have consequences because we're working with several countries, several company. It can goes well, but it also can goes wrong. It depends. I always say that co-production is a long-term relationship. This is a marriage with prenup, and like any marriage where money is involved, prenup is extremely very important. You can work with only one co-producer if it's possible. For example, that you only work with friends. So you can access CNC, and then you can apply for Fubarbas plus Europe. But often happen because like in Indonesia, we don't have national funding for feature film. But to produce the film, we need more than one or two source. This is only also can happen when it is a co-production between some country. So all have consequences. You can work with only one company, one country, but to work with 2 or 3 or 4, it's also possible. It's also accepted, but sometimes it can be also complicated. And the decision is depend. I would say in my experience is depend on the project. If the budget is high and you don't have any support from the local investor or local co-producer, you can go to some country, not only one country. And before decided to work with the co-producer, I usually check the background, ask the producer from another country who have more experience than me, because this is a long-term relationship, like a marriage. It can be divorce, it can be also long-lasting. This is why that we will need a trust from the beginning, very clear about the contract, very clear about the shares, how many percents, and very clear also about the territory. I think this is all for now. We can discuss later, and I will end my presentation and take this opportunity to show our trailer of the science fictions, which will be screened in Indonesian cinema very soon. Please play the teaser, and thank you very much.
Siapakah kita ini, manusia yang dalam diam riuh, ragu dan tak mampu.
Man, aku sembunyi di sini ya, Man. 1966 kita manetan, Man.
Darat, Man.
Senang-senang itu hak semua orang, miskin kaya semua butuh hiburan. Pengen mabok tapi kurang anggaran, minum oplosan, nyawa melayang.
Looks very interesting. I'm intrigued to watch. Thank you, Mbak Yulia, for sharing the presentation and the trailer as well. I'm very intrigued to watch science fictions. I hope this pandemic will be over soon so we can get access to our cinema. I've been missing it so much. And to sum up a little bit about your presentation, so yes, of course, you have several productions co-producing with other countries as well, and maybe individual co-production with only one country or one company, or several productions, several co-productions, all are very doable, but it comes with certain conditions as well, so it has consequences as well. But the reason behind it, why co-production, of course you have like financing reason, you get supports and grants, artistic reason as well. I think if you have point of view from other filmmakers from different side of the world, that also can enrich the quality of or color of your film. And also the distribution side of it, you have benefit for it because of the network you establish with the co-producing countries. Correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, Mbak Yulia, or if there's anything.
Udah cocok.
Okay, thank you, that's good. I would like to invite the participants at home, or if you're watching anywhere, to send me questions, but I have a few questions to all the speakers. Firstly, for Stefan, like I said, I come as a blank canvas. I'm only a film enthusiast, but I have zero experience or knowledge in film producing, only study a little bit of it through workshops. So, yeah, first off for Stefan, can I see it? Since I come from PR and marketing background, and Paris, I think from viewer point of view, is so famous. I've seen it in so many movies and series. How do you promote another region, the marketing technique or your approach, and if there's any like successful study case, whereas you have other top locations other than Paris because of this marketing approach you took? I hope my question is clear.
Not really. I did not really get the purpose of it.
Okay. How is your marketing approach for other region? In my understanding as a viewer, Paris is very famous. How do you promote the other regions to like sort of compete with Paris? I mean, the other
You
top...
mean the rest of our territory,
Yes.
despite the center of the territory of the region?
Yes.
All right.
Maybe yeah.
Okay. So obviously, when you shoot somewhere, you don't only shoot in front of famous monuments. You also shoot and mainly shoot on streets, in parks, in apartments, in homes, and so you need to have all of this available. And what happens is that foreign directors are not really familiar with how these homes look like, how they are arranged, distributed. I would mean, the rooms and so on, how a small city is organized, and so on. So what we try to do is through a database, we have some information, pictures, and also data as far as superficie, height is concerned, and price, and access, and all of that. So that database is giving some information about all of that. And then, as far as promoting is concerned, we try to put forward what would be attractive in this region. So Paris is known, the city of Paris and the destination of Paris is known for being the love city. So we are going to give into that, meaning that we're going to provide pictures, provide information as far as the theme of love is concerned. But we are also trying to attract films and series that deal with action. Action movies are very dynamic. They're very good at introducing a region, a territory. They show these territories in a different aspect. And for example, we had Jason Bourne movies come to Paris, and also more recently we had Mission Impossible, which was shot here. And through all these action images, we introduced the city in a different manner. So between love, which is sort of most of the time slow images, slow movies, and action movies, there is a wide range of what is possible in Paris, and that's our strategy between showing the city and the region, between love and action.
Okay, thank you so much, Stefan. So let me summarize that again. So aside from having the not insightful, but like complete database of other cities, maybe other settings that the filmmakers need, we also put forward what is attractive of that place. Paris is known to be the city of love, so there are pictures and information to show the kind of angle, but you also explore other genre, one of which is action movies, which is very dynamic in terms of scene. And then through that, you can expose different angle or perspective in showing how the city is. So yeah, that's one of the techniques that they're using to expose or promote other regions or other places in France. Thank you, Stefan. Also, there's another question that maybe the three of you can answer, because I saw Pak Lalu and Mbak Yulia have also collaborated with France as well. Say I'm a indie filmmaker. What are the main criterias or maybe the great selling point that you will how do I put it? How do I win my pitch? What type of proposal that you can maybe want to give grant to this production? The process, maybe the steps of proposing this co-production. Do you get my question? How do you win a pitch for co-production? I suppose you receive a lot of proposals from other countries.
Maybe I can start to answer the question. Yeah, basically from the film commission that I represent, the perspective is when you have the specific location required or written in the story, and we can over that specific location. For example, you mentioned about beach, or you mentioned about river, or you mentioned about special village that integrated in the story, and the film commission that are part of the Indonesian Film Board can offer. We can consider to support the project. That's the starting point.
Okay, so from certain locations that you need. Mbak Yulia, like when you're
so different funding, I think, have different criteria about what kind of project that they might be like or support. But at least in my experience, the first is about the project itself. I mean, this project, producer and director have to work on the dossier, on the story, and of course, all of the funding have open submission, so we have to submit, of course, to the film funding. But especially in co-production, I think I would say the pathway, the best pathway is develop your project through the film lab or a talent lab if you were first or second, if this is your first or second feature film as a director, and then submit your project through the co-production market, because this is the place that you really can meet the potential partners, and this is the place that the co-producer from example Europe try to find the partners. The most I think important is of course the script, and also the previous works of the filmmakers. I think that's from my experience.
Thank you. So portfolio and the developing it through a film lab. Stefan, do you want to add to that, or should we move on?
I think there are two ways for a co-producer to enter into a co-production. One is to evaluate the capacity of a project to be successful in a country, as far as the theme of the project is going to correspond culturally to what the audience in this country is attracted to, and that can be very different things, but you have to find one thing or two that is going to enable the producer to sell the film in his or her country and eventually to the countries surrounding. So let's take a French producer. This French producer is going to evaluate the project and see if it can be distributed in cinemas in France, or if it can be aired on the French TV channels or through a platform. And if the French viewers are going to be attracted by the film. And I think it is quite important for a French producer to look into that, because there are so many films that are produced in France. France is the third country in the world producing films after India and the United States. And so since we have a very heavy local production, or the international co-productions need to talk to the French people. We reserve 50% of our screens to French productions or French co-productions in France. The other 50% is for American films, so to speak. So the producer is looking into the potential of the film, and then is also going to look into how he can contribute to the film. Is it going to be accompanying the building of finance? Is it going to be getting involved into the script? Is it going to be getting involved into the shooting? Is it going to be involved into welcoming part of the shooting in France? So there are several reasons why a French co-producer is going to look at a project. But I think definitely that one of the main worries of a French producer is to know if he or she can, with this film, access the local market. Otherwise, he is to be considered just as an investor, which is possible, of course.
Okay, thank you so much, Stefan. So we have to find the middle ground for it to be culturally maybe relatable or intriguing for the market, because again, France is the third largest producers of film following India and US, and the allocation for the film distribution locally is 50% for French producers and co-productions and 50% for Americans. And then we have to define what the contributions of the local producers to the film, which is it through scripts or through the shooting process, in the beginning of the shooting process. So there are several reasons like how you can basically win or get this co-production going. Thank you. And I will read a few questions from the audience. From Maharani. This is for everyone, so you can answer, or you can even challenge each other. What challenges do film commissions face on a daily basis? Maybe Pak Lalu or Stefan would like. Should I repeat the questions? What challenges do film commissions face on a daily basis?
You have some film productions who address you looking for some specific locations that they cannot find themselves. That's a real challenge.
Okay.
Because you see, in France, we have been making films for 120 years.
Yeah.
So we have extremely experienced technicians.
Yeah.
Among them, we have, of course, the location managers, who are people who consecrate their lives at looking for locations, and they do that all year long. And so they know their business, so to speak, quite well.
Yeah.
So when they call us, it's because they did not find what they were looking for. And for us, it's a real challenge because we need to know, maybe sometimes better than they already do, our specifics, our monuments, our cities, our, I don't know, forest, lakes, and what have you. And so that's a real challenge. And we know that. So what we do when we go out and explore our own territory, we sort of classify our locations into two sections. The ones that are obvious, but that we need, because when foreign productions address us directly, without going through a French person, we need to be able to deliver some information, pictures, and the rest directly. So that's one thing. But then when the French call us, we need to be extremely daring, I would say. We need to be extremely precise. We need to be very efficient so that they keep on calling us and maintain this very special relationship that we have with them.
Okay. Thank you so much, Stefan. Pak Lalu, do you want to add something from our Indonesian standpoint? The experiences?
Well, yeah, basically, because the main objective is to provide one-stop film permit service and also provide local support. So basically, the challenge is always when they cannot provide the service or requirement that filmmakers request. So that's basically the challenge. Maybe same with what Stephen just mentioned. For example, the filmmakers required a certain location, and then you cannot find the location that required or requested. So yeah, that's kind of also challenge. And since film commission and that we initiated working closely with the unit under the local government, so ideally, or yeah, we can provide every permit that can issued by the unit or the authority under the local government, but sometimes maybe the implementation is not like what we expected, so that's kind of also challenge for filmmakers.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Lalu. Mbak Yulia, you want to add something, or should I follow on? There's a question for you later after this, specifically for Mbak Yulia. Can we go on to the questions from a friend in Padang? Can we scroll the... No. Oh, okay. I'll just ask for Karina. Okay. This is from Karina. Talking about financial support, how do you help the filmmakers to get funds for their film? Do you have any program for that? Financial support for filmmakers. How do you help them to get funds? Do you have any program for that? Stefan, maybe? I can't hear anything. Hello? I can't hear Stefan's voice as well.
Okay.
Oh,
Can you hear
okay.
me?
Yeah. Should I repeat the question?
Yes, please.
This is from Karina. Talking about financial support, how do you help the filmmakers to get funds for their film? Do you have any program for that?
Yeah, we have the region, Paris region,
Paris region.
has a new program that came up in March. I mentioned it. It's a program which is designed for international co-productions. The French producer needs to remain minority, so below 49.9%. And this system is based on the expenses on French soil, on Parisian soil. And you, if you spend between 100,000 and 500,000 euros on Parisian soil, you get 50% back.
Yes, I remember this. Okay, so that's the answer, Karina. They have a program starting in March, international co-productions, where French producer remain minority, 49.9%. If you have expenses on French soil between 100,000 to 500,000 euros, you get 50% back, or the rebate. Pak Lalu? How about funding for maybe international or local co-productions?
Well, yeah, the central government, they have like programs. Yeah, it's kind of difficult because sometimes not always available every year. So the best thing is sending like official letter, or can send your requirement or request through the Indonesian Film Board, and then if the project has good potential to get support, then maybe we can try to submit the central government, because Indonesian Film Board itself, because we although we are working closely with the government, we are not managing a government, like specific budget to provide support to the filmmaker. So most of the time we work with the Ministry of Education and Culture, or the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy to provide support to the specific project if they are not already allocated. Yeah, maybe that's my answer.
Okay, so maybe this is also homework for us if we don't have specific programs yet. So everything is still discussable at the moment. You can send your proposals, and Indonesian Film Board will have it discussed with central government, Ministry of Education and Tourism as well. Aside from the fact if they have already allocated fundings for local or international co-productions. We got another questions from Opik to everyone. This is in Indonesian, so I will translate. Bagaimana cara berkolaborasi antara... Okay. How do you collaborate with countries in Asia and Europe? Is any country, or does any country or continent have their own specific regulations? I suppose there is. So between those maybe specific or complicated regulations for each countries and continent, how do you collaborate? Maybe any like specific example of how you tackle this collaboration or communication. Should I repeat the question again? Collabs?
Well, I can start answering that. Um, as I mentioned, France is a country where production is very high.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we know that we are in a very strong competition with the rest of the world. Asia is coming up very strong because there is a soaring economy over there. The development is strong, and we are very interested into the development of these countries. We are even more interested because, in fact, they most of the time look at France as being an alternative to the United States. Hence, the fact that some Asian countries decided to get inspiration from our French CNC. And hence the fact that Indonesia asked me to come for 2 or 3 days, I don't remember, and do this program so that local film commissions get some information on how to develop their entity and the way they work, and how they can work with their territory. So we are, since we do not want to be into a world where all is ruled by the United States, since we want to believe that there is a multipolar system that can be established, we followed the French state. And for example, we answered to the French embassy, who called on me to come and do this session in Yogyakarta. We are very eager to make sure that several cultures, many cultures, remain available for the world and in the world, because we think that we have plenty to bring each of us to the rest of humanity, and that is something that is, sort of signature, that is something that characterizes France. We are very dedicated to this, and I take the opportunity to thank the French embassy to go on the work that we have started 2 years ago, because it is very important that all our nations talk to each other, help each other, and work together, because work is something that make things concrete. The friendship, the interest in one another, all of this is very important. And then culture is helping understand how other people live, why they do things the way they do. And so we come down through this question to what common grounds to humanity there is, and why stories that are interesting in Indonesia are also interesting in France. It's because through the way we approach certain dilemmas or problems, human problems, we can learn, and we can solve these problems in a different manner, maybe.
Okay, thank you, Stefan. That's very insightful. Yes, we have to synergize and talk between the countries, establish the relationship. So we experience sharing different cultural point of view. But Yulia, you want to add your experience perhaps from producer side? I mean, coming from an Asian country, how do you collaborate? Maybe in terms of communications or challenges?
I think I agree with Stefan that this is about common sense, common ground, because I always believe that even though we have a differences background, but for example, if we talk about the father and son relationship, it can be also somehow connected, or this is the universal topic that we can share. And not only about that, I mean, in many different aspects, if we talk about dictatorial, for example, not only Indonesia was under 32 years of dictator era, lots of experience from another country also face this kind of a problem. And of course, we have to maintain this communication, or we have to present our works, our films. So this can be continue with, of course, your film. If you are working on your first feature film, so maybe you have to make some short film, and then try to submit it to the film festival, so the programmers can know you, your signature as the director, or the French co-producer will know you, or interest to works with you because you are the producer from Southeast Asian, which produce amazing short film, and then now working on the first feature film. I think that's how we works. And speaking about the co-production, I think with Asian, because I quite a lot meet and communicate all the time with them. But I would like to share that in Southeast Asian, for example, with Singapore, we because they have Southeast Asian grant. So this is regional grant for Southeast Asian filmmakers. So you have to submit, and then you must have the Singapore co-producer. I mean, this is the collaboration that only possible if you are working with the co-producer. But also, this is possible not only about the financing. Why we works with the so the editor of autobiography is also working on his feature film, and at the end I co-produce his film. So this connection, I think this is like a natural something that happened because this is a common sense, common ground. I think that's the point. Thank you.
Thank you, Mbak Yulia. Pak Lalu, do you want to add something before we move on to the next question?
Yeah, I agree what Stefan mentioned about the cooperation and also cultural exchange, because according to Indonesian law, that the film not only about culture but also promoting diversity, because Indonesia is like a country with 1,000 island and hundreds of culture, and film playing important role in also promoting unity in diversity. That's why we when we promote the film commission, not only because for promoting tourism or promoting local economy, but also to promote different cultures and different story, and also to remind Indonesian people that film is not only in Jakarta or in Java, but there are also I mentioned earlier, film commission from that we established in Siak or Riau province. That's we kind of initiative that we supported, because we also want to flourish film development in many regions of Indonesia.
Thank you, Palalu. We will move on to another question. This is specifically for Mbak Yulia from Petrus Sitepu. I want to ask Mbak Yulia, maybe you have mentioned about it earlier before in collaborations with SG Grant. In autobiography film, there are so many co-productions from other countries. So what are benefits from co-production? So what are the benefits that we get in that co-production for that autobiography film? What we should offer for the other parties in terms of co-production. So what mutual benefits that we get out of each other in autobiography?
From my side, as the filmmakers who wants to make a very specific film, this film, I think the benefit I already mentioned before. What are the reasons to co-produce? Of course, the benefit is the financial, because not all of the film possible to finance from the local investor, or especially also because we don't have public funding for film. Of course, the financing, that's the first benefit. And the second, I also already mentioned, is about a collaboration. In my film, I really want a very specific about the cinematography, for example, and then it can be reached by working together. And of course, the wider audience means that you can more and more monetize your film. So your film distributes to wider as possible, but in also in distribution side, that means that your film can be monetized more than if you only screen your film in for the local audiences. I think that's the benefits from our side. And from the co-producers side, because this national grant or international grant that have to applied by the co-producers, of course they will have a film then when the film is finished. They are part of the film. They will have a certain share in the film. But also, for example, when we got World Cinema Fund from Germany, there are also a commission for the co-producers, and this is not only for World Cinema Fund, even CNC, even Southeast Asian Southeast Asian co-production grant from the Singapore, because the spending obligation is 50%. The maximum that we can get is 250 Singapore dollar, and the spending obligation is 50%. It means that the local or the film industry from Singapore also can get benefit from the 50% of spending obligation. I think this is also for CNC, for example, because even though we don't have a treaty, but this spending obligation that we agree in the deal memo or in the agreement, we have to respect about it. I think that's maybe this is answer your question.
Thank you. But I think it was also stated in your presentation earlier. So you have financial benefit, artistic benefit, if you want to reach certain cinematic scenes, perhaps, or shots, or maybe with people who has certain expertise in cinematography, and then also, of course, distribution, and maybe for the commissions or the other co-producers, they have portfolio, and then you have like partial spending obligations. Next up, we have a question specific to Pak Lalu. This is from Sasri Pamungki. Are there no Komisi Film Daerah or Regional Film Commission that will become your projects in 2020 other than those mentioned? Because if it exists in all districts in Indonesia, it will help the community a lot, especially in developing the regional potential through films. Cinematic greetings from Madiun. So, Pak Lalu, this is also something that I noted from your presentation. I think Indonesia has a lot of homework to establish more regional film commissions. So, how are we working towards that goal to have more established in other regions?
Okay, thank you for the question.
Sasri.
Sasri. We learned and we evaluated from the past 3 years when we initiated the film commission. The initiative should be from the local government and the film community, from the region itself. So we cannot initiate it, or we offer to initiate film commission if we don't gather support from the local government or the local film community. That's the evaluation that we learned from the past 3 years since we started to initiate film commission. Because although we got support from the local government, when the film community in the region are not really supporting, that's not also benefiting the local film scene itself. Or the other way around, if local film communities are very dynamic, but the local government doesn't really support, then it won't work as well. So it has to be like a mutual partnership or mutual collaboration between the local government and the local film community. If you are interested, or the local government and the local film communities are interested to set up film commission, you can propose to the Indonesian Film Board. And but before that, you can also access, I mentioned in my presentation, how to set up film commission. We have already published guide how to establish a film commission and how to operate film commission in our website, bpi.or.id. So you can learn, and maybe you can talk with your local government. If you are interested to set up film commission, then we can have we can discuss more about the proposal or the plan. Thank you.
I think we're reaching the end of our conversation. Thank you very, very much for Stefan, Mbak Yulia, Pak Lalu, for sharing your insightful information. Also, apologies if there's any missing points from my side as a moderator. Thank you very much for accommodating the questions. And I suppose the participants can also reach out to you personally. I mean, everything is just a Google away. I think you're available in social media, or at least LinkedIn. And I would also like to thank all the participants who still stay until right this very second, because you will get a goodie bag from L'Oreal. Thanks again, everyone. Thank you for the French Film Festival 2020 for having me. Thank you for all the speakers. Thank you for the participants. And I suppose we'll see you next year. And stay tuned, because tomorrow they still have another session. Bye. Good night. Thank you.